Hello, and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast, episode 117, I think. I think this is 117. Joining me, as always, for one more week, Josh. Hi, Josh.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm getting prepped to go to a expo in Edmonton.
Good for you. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm finding a whole bunch of my shit that I use for when I'm buying posters and whatever.
That's
like,
nice.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I use a cardboard tube from, what was it, Staples or whatever? Like, they have those giant tubes that meant for, like, your maps for building a new house or whatever. I use those cardboard...
Project tubes.
Yeah, the project tubes. I have a project tube. It's just cardboard with a plastic tip on the end. But I have with the help of my dad, I got some rope from his garage and just duct tape it to the either ends of them. So I sling it around my back like a freaking ninja sword. So it's pretty great. So when I'm buying stuff, I'd be like, oh wait, hold on, let me get my tube. I'll just flip it over my shoulder, and like I get one or two comments of like, oh, that's pretty clever. And I go, yeah.
Josh is a clever kind of guy, ladies.
Yeah.
If you want more of Josh, make sure you subscribe to Josh's YouTube channel. That does not exist.
I have one, but it doesn't have any shit on it.
Josh does not support his YouTube comments very well. That's what we're learning today.
Exactly. I tell them all to die. Every single one of them.
I do the same thing too.
Oh.
Almost as if we have something in common. Also joining us for this episode, who's probably been patiently waiting to make a statement, is Allan. Hi, Allan. How are you?
Okay, stop.
Okay.
I'm talking those. Ow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm eating. I just got home from work. I had 3 days off because of rain.
Thanks, Rain. You gave Allan time in order to do my shit.
Actually, I didn't. I was doing prep for something, and we'll talk about that today.
Oh, God.
But the big thing is that the topic of Josh going to Expo and stuff like that. I'm going to the Expo on Sunday, and I'm picking up one of them tubes on the day of, so I can buy like posters and shit like that.
Yes. You guys are lucky fucks.
I mean, you could probably get the better ones instead of my stupid duct tape with rope on a cardboard tube. You can get a better one. You can get a better one over like Michael's or an art store where they actually have like, oh, here's our actual giant ones made of plastic and they screw on tops and all this fancy jazz. Instead of just going a hobo route.
I don't think you guys are fucks.
Not gonna.
By the way,
hey, you love us.
Oh, you love us totally.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to hope I don't spend too much money at this goddamn expo.
I'm taking $200 and that's it.
Yeah, that's my plan too. Although the entry fee is going to be like $30 or something.
Depends on which day you're going to.
I'm going Saturday. Cause
I'm going Sunday.
Oh, so that'd be $25.
Probably.
Yeah, it's always the case. And every time let's say I was going to buy a ticket early and go to the expo, I go, I should buy a ticket early. It'd be cheaper. And it turns out it's like, no, it's like a buck cheaper. And it's like, why bother? Like, Jesus Christ.
Because they want to rip.
No, it's
nope, go ahead.
It's just,
they want to rip you off, Josh. They want to rip you off.
Actually, the people who rip you off is fucking Ticketmaster, the fucking biggest rip-off artist ever.
Wow. And scalpers.
No, it's not really scalpers or anything. It's more Ticketmaster because they're the sole provider for a lot of these goddamn tickets for any event, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. So it's pretty fucking bad. I mean, they straight up have a monopoly, and no one's doing anything jack shit about it. So okay then.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can buy the tickets straight there.
Oh yeah, that's what I always do every year because I'm like, buying them online gives me no benefit other than I'm gonna lose my tickets. Like every time, it's like, make sure I put this in my wallet.
Ah, sweet. Anyways, I just finished modeling our shoe for our character for our game that we're making. I finally finished modeling the shoe. Ah, thank God.
Thank
fucking God.
God.
By the way, people.
It will be 6 years.
And yes, it has been 3 months since you started that model.
No, maybe. It's been 3 days, actually. And I just finished the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, though, I've been going to sleep and working and stuff like that. Anyways.
Yep.
I think that's a good tangent to start talking about my LT.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like this, am I?
My LT is Maya. So if you like Maya, you're gonna like my LT. If you don't like Maya, you're not gonna like my LT. I don't know.
By the way, Jeff falls into the latter category, ladies and gentlemen.
So me and Maya have a love-hate relationship where I think that I personally love 3ds Max more. I think it's a cleaner piece of software and stuff like that. Runs better in my opinion. But I can sit there and say Maya is okay. It's a good piece of software when it doesn't crash. That is the caveat. I also think that Maya is very good at what it does, and when it does stuff well, it does stuff fine. But my LT is basically Maya without anything else.
Without the renders.
Without rendering or anything like that, which is great for me and stuff like that, because for modeling and stuff like that, it's brilliant. That being said, it amazes me that Autodesk has this much love for Maya, and yet they're not able to do a 3ds Max variant of just modeling 3ds Max, which I think has the better UVing editor and stuff like that. That's my opinion.
Hasn't the Maya adopted the 3ds Max?
Basically, they're the same kernel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would make sense that you sell a product for Max and a product with Maya. It would make sense. They're not doing that. So.
I mean, Maya is the flagship of their company.
I thought it was AutoCAD.
Well, okay.
Maya is the
excluding AutoCAD.
Maya is the flagship of their modeling division.
Yep. And here's the thing though, Jeff. The reason why Maya LT is a thing and 3ds Max Lite is not a thing is the bigger industry uses it more.
Yeah, I realize that animators prefer Maya and stuff like that, but I find that some animators. So I'm not going to name names here, but Linus is actually reasonable. Linus.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, Linus will sit there and be like, I prefer Maya, but I can understand why people prefer Max, and I don't really care. Linus doesn't sit there with a fucking knife ready to stab you in the fucking throat because you said that you prefer Max, and he doesn't sit there and go, well, Max is just gay and only bleeps say Max. Like, that is something that a Maya fanboy would say.
I mean.
And to a T, like, I don't want to work with those people because I find them unreasonable. Hence why I don't work with those people. Hence why I work with Allan, who is completely reasonable and able to listen to my judgment and questions. And stuff.
I mean, Max is still a piece of shit, but that's beside the point.
But like, you could understand why I prefer Max.
Oh no, I get why people prefer Max.
Yeah,
he's still a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I think that we can both agree that Maya and Max are both piles of garbage. Just
they are
fancy coats of paint on them and cost $3,000.
And that's the thing is, here's the difference between me and Jeff, and probably Josh too. I see Maya as the mistress who calls you at 2:30 in the afternoon, going, "Hey, can you pick me up this, and this?" Yeah. And then when you get there, she's not there. I see Max as the one who calls you at 3:30 in the morning and going, "Hey, so I'm at the police station. Can you come pick me up?"
That's. To be fair,
and I'm not wrong, and you know it.
To be fair, my opinion of Max is the piece of software that will call you at like 3 o'clock in the morning and say, "I'm at the police station." Maya is the police station that will call you and be like, "Hey, I just killed a guy. Can you come and bail me out?" That's Maya to me. And like,
fair.
And that's like my stereotype of like all Autodesk programs is like they're the program that will somehow get in trouble with the police. They're not like Adobe products, but we'll sit there and like coddle you and hug you and make sure that you feel nice and fine and are very cozy to be around. They're the people. They're like the shit. They're the ones that get the shit done. You know, get the shit done.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly.
They're not like Blender, which is like the heroin addict, though.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't see Blender as the heroin actor. I saw it as the pot smoker.
I would see him as like the indie dude that you look over your shoulder and see what he's doing and be like, oh, that's some cool ass shit. What are you working? I never heard of this program before. What is this?
Yeah. That's
Fair
Blender.
point.
Anyways.
That's Blender.
Anyways, that was very loud.
My biggest problem with, and here's the thing is I freely admit that, like, not all the time. There are some things that you actually like stop and you look at and you go, oh well, shit, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I kind of like look at Maya, and I go, for me, it's a seductive mistress that I will lose several dozen hours to in a day. Yes, I didn't say several dozen. It feels like I might only work for like 4 or 5, but I feel like I lose 10 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Max, I fucking hate Max because Maya is a vertex and face based program.
Yeah.
Max is an edge and vertex based program.
Yeah.
Where edges and vertexes are more important than faces. Where in Maya, it's the other way around. It's a face that's a little bit more important because you need to have 4 points in a poly. You need to have this, and you have this, and you need to make sure your face works. Because if it doesn't, it's going to look bad in the animation. Whereas Max, because you're usually putting on a map on it afterwards, which like changes what it usually looks like, you can get away with more things with the faces, but the edge is what matter for it because then it defines how it looks.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
you're just not saying the thing I would like you to say. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Max is not better than Maya. I will never say that.
They all have their ups and downs, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of going like, okay, so broadsword, nice and shining armor sword, or samurai sword, or maybe an axe. Which one should I use for the job?
This isn't. What is that game? For Honor, Josh. This isn't For Honor.
No, actually,
I'll take a long sword over an axe any day.
I mean, I choose the guy that has the most jank potential, which is the hybrid Lawbringer, which is, he has a long staff with an axe bit on the end, and basically he has all these grab combos.
He has a halberd?
He has a halberd, yeah. So basically, you can poke people from far away, and if you get too close, you grab them and throw them against shit, and you keep comboing them. It's pretty good, and also if you're good enough, you can
sounds like nothing but jank.
That's gonna a little bit, and if you're good enough, you can actually do running charge. I was gonna say
it sounds like most Marvel Capcom games.
Yeah, like
was that a motherfucking segue?
I think it's a motherfucking segue.
I would say probably a segue, but we have to contact Rory in order to see segue potential.
You just get you get the one of the soundboard with all of his voice bits on it, and just hit the one that says motherfucking segue.
Oh god, that's for Podcast Studio 2.0.
Yep.
And they have like 80 different buttons for all of them just saying segue in different ways, and then like 4 other buttons for him for other catchphrases. That'd be
Rory,
good.
other catchphrases? I think not.
So
I don't think I could handle more Rory catchphrases.
Oh, man, it'd be great to be working with Rory. I could just high five him all day. It's so great.
It would be terrible for me. He would just make me like want to kill every human on the planet Earth.
Oh, whatever. He'll be on my side of the fucking office then.
He's still too close. That doesn't solve any issues, Josh. That just makes them worse. I still have to deal with him every other day. Not that I don't like Rory. I mean, God. I mean, who wouldn't dislike Rory? That's a lie.
Anyway, Capcom versus Marvel Infinite. That came out.
And it's garbage, I hear.
It's...
I believe you said it's a pile of trash.
It's pretty much... Well, the thing is, though, it's one of the... It's same issues that freaking Street Fighter V is having.
Oh.
Which is... or this one's a little more apparent because in basically the preview images for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the people are looking at it going like, oh, hey, this is preview image. This is way back, like, I don't know, 6 months ago. People are looking at it going, oh, this looks really cool. And they're also showing off story mode for the game. And then people looking at it and go like, okay, cool. This actually has like maybe a cohesive story compared to other fighting games and whatever, because the Injustice and the other Midway, or not Midway, but that freaking what's the company's called? The
NetherRealm.
Yeah, NetherRealm. Like they have very cohesive and really awesome storylines that you go through and fight people and stuff like that. And Capcom trying to do the same thing with Marvel, and it's really falls flat because the characters are straight up going like, what's a good classic example? Be like, oh, Dante, hell, look, that's Dante over there. And of course, Dante's like, catchphrase. And then Rocket Raccoon's like, the fuck is with this Dante guy? And of course, they're all just saying out each other's names over and over because it's like, I know you're Rocket Raccoon. It's just nothing, like no good writing at all.
Do they have the good Dante in it? That's the question, though.
They do, but the thing is, that's another issue. The models are so off model to the point of like, what's wrong with their faces and their body shape? And I was like, what's up with that? It's
so
like
great,
everything...
they have the Dante without white hair. I'm happy.
No, they have Dante with white hair, but the thing is, you look at their face long enough, and you go, oh, his face is fucked up, like really fucked up to the point of like, that's not Dante, that's an impersonator of Dante.
That's somebody that's not Dante, but that is totally Dante.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what's wrong with their faces? It's just little things like that. You go, what the fuck is going on? And another issue with the game is that they got a roster leak like far fucking ever ago. And this roster leak is probably the most disappointing thing ever. It's not necessarily for like the company. It's more of like fans looking into this roster leak because they're like, oh man, I sure hope this roster leak isn't real. And then they, as the months start going on and start revealing more characters, and they start sadly realizing, oh, all these characters are actually going to be real. Oh, no.
So can I make one point about this?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually like their Gamora design. I think it looks really badass, and I like how it looks and stuff like that. That being said, man, they could have done a better job.
Yeah, like, it just boils down to, like, Capcom being really goddamn lazy. Just supremely lazy.
I don't think it's Capcom, though.
I think it's kind of... Well, the thing is, who's developing it? It's mostly Capcom.
So I think, personally, like, if this is me, I think that this was a Marvel issue through and through.
I would think so, too.
And I think that...
Because right now, I'm looking through the list of characters through the Marvel side, and they're just really bland and nothing interesting. I mean, to be fair, there are some neat dudes in there, like Groot's in there with Rocket, and like the Hulk is in there. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you get like Hawkeye, and then you get like Captain Marvel, and then who else? Yeah, just a lot of like I don't know, kind of human generic characters. And it's like, I'm sure you could have pulled for more interesting weird dudes in the freaking universe, because I mean, there's more in that universe. It just really looks like Marvel just sat down at a table with Capcom and said, okay, we need to really push our movies.
Well, I don't think that that's part of the issue. I think the main issue is that Marvel right now hasn't been doing as hot as they would like to. And I think that they have also handled a lot of issues very differently than how many fans would like them to. And I think that this is just another piece of the puzzle where this is Revenant from 2 years ago. So this is like, it takes 2 years to make a game, let's say a fighting game like this. So this could this could probably be where we're beginning to see the craziness, and now we're actually seeing the ending trifecta of stupidity that's coming out of Marvel.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And also I was going to point out that even for Capcom side of the roster, it's a rehash of a lot of other characters from other games, like from the past games. And it's like, there's nothing new. There's nothing new here.
Well, it can't be as bad as the NBA game that came out on fucking, what's it called? On Steam. The thing that's got nothing but mostly negative shit.
Oh, that one with the review that got pulled. Is it that one? Because that one's like a whole lot of horse shit.
Did it get pulled?
Yeah, because the company was like, we're not going to pay you anymore if you put this out, and they're like, oh, sorry about that. Oh, sorry. Like, fucking Jesus. It's like, you see this once and you wonder, man, I wonder if this happens 100 other times. Like, freaking, Gamergate!
The question is it still online? Is it, like, I'm actually like looking through like the new releases to see if it's still up on the front page, but I don't see it.
I think it's still there. I don't know.
There's it. NBA 2K18.
Yeah.
Current rating 31%.
31? That's a bit high.
Yep. Yeah.
It turns on and you can play it. That's basically the that's a review.
Niche, a generic survival game. What the fuck is this game? No, keep going. I'm like, you've made me go browse through into this game. I'm now like looking at stuff and like Niche. This game looks fucking dorky, but I want to play it now.
Which game is that?
Niche, a generic survival game. That is the name of the game, and I'm like, oh,
okay.
A genetics survival game. Sorry, I'll correct that statement.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, the title I actually kind of called the new Marvel vs. Capcom. It's Lazy Capcom versus Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Infinite downtime, because, well, the online of it, I think it works and everything, and it works just fine, but it's like, I'm not gonna, like, usually I'm pretty into fighting games and stuff like that, and I like to get them right, like, get them right off the bat and shit like that, but the more I look into the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it's like, I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna wait until this thing's like $20, and that could be sooner than later, probably. Fair.
Yeah, and it seems like, and another dumb thing is like they're trying to bank on this game for like for what was it, the Capcom Cup and like the fighting tournament that happens in Vegas every year, the Evo and shit like that, and it's just, I don't think.
Oh god.
Like, I think it will probably be there on main stage, but it's not going to have the force that it once had. In fact, the one game is going to have the force that's going to blow everyone out of the water because everyone's just so hyped for it. Is the Capcom, or no, not Capcom? It's the Dragon Ball Z fighter coming out.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It's so fucking good. I cannot push this hard enough.
Josh, just pants, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
It's so fucking good. Like, oh god, it's even still kind of early in putting in, like, I think they're at the stage where they're like 80-75% done, but they're still putting touches to it because it's going to be released 2018, I think, like early 2018, what they're aiming for. So they're still touching things up. But right now, when you see videos of this game being played, you just can't be helping awe of like, wow, this looks exactly like the TV show. It acts like the TV show, and I fucking having fun playing this goddamn game. And you think it'd be a total mess, but no, it's fucking balanced, and you're gonna have a really good time. And it's like, wow, it's weird how this is like a breath of fresh air of like, oh, this is a fun game to play compared to the other shit. So it's like, man, this is gonna probably be main stage. It's probably gonna dethrone Street Fighter V. Like it could dethrone Street Fighter V. Like which
that'd be pretty impressive actually.
That'd be very impressive. But I think that's wishful thinking though, because that's
well,
that's more...
it will depend, because if it does the job right, then yes, it will dethrone.
It will dethrone, and then Capcom will just have their hand in their face with fucking alcohol bottle right beside them, going like, "What did we do wrong?" It's like, what did we do?
And all the fans will be like, "This is what you did wrong."
It's like, it's not fucking Dragon Ball Z. Like,
then again, I posted a link in here of how is this a thing in relation to Josh's topic there. But the video is Blaze Blue Cross Tag Team Battle trailer, and it has Persona, Under the Night Cross, Under Night, Blaze Blue, and Ruby in this fighting game.
Yeah, actually, it turns out the developers were huge fans of the Ruby, shit. So it was like, oh, that's super cool. Actually,
can I be honest about this? This is actually probably the only time I'm ever going to be excited about Ruby.
I don't like Ruby.
I'm still not gonna lie. I'm still like really like surprised this is a thing. Like this came out of fucking nowhere for me. I'm like, what?
Look, I'm not gonna get into it here, but like I don't like Ruby. I think Ruby is mediocre.
No, that's okay. That's a fair statement. It's better than what some people say, which is like
it needs more. It needs more Haley.
Bad.
It needs more Haley 3 in it. It needs more giant robots that are controlled by humans via magical connections.
It
needs to be more. It needs to be more War Machine and less Ruby, if I'm honest.
No.
Yes, it does. Shut up. Like everyone.
No.
You need to shut up a little.
Hey, Jeff. War Machine Mark III. Fuck off. Until War Machines fix that problem, they don't deserve a good game now.
Hey, War Machine is fine-ish.
Yeah. But anyway, back to fighting games.
I won't lie. Like, I'm actually pretty excited about it, but at the same time,
yeah,
like I'm actually like pretty worried about it.
It's gonna come out at a time, and Allan's just gonna be like not playing video games.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like my friend Daniel, who's gonna be like, I'm getting back into games, guys, and then we're all gonna be like, that's nice.
That's nice. Here's the shit you missed. Oh no,
that's nice. Feminist Frequency actually took over all of video gaming.
I'd be like, well, I'm going to go commit suicide. I refuse to play anything related to feminist frequency. Jesus Christ.
I think every gamer, self-respecting gamer, would refuse to.
Sure. But anyway, yeah, so that, what's it called? Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle? I think that's what the new... I think
with Persona, I still love the fact that it's got Persona, Ruby, Underdark, which I don't even know what that one is.
That one is... And, that one's another really popular fighting game from Japan, but it's one of those... Again, it's niche, but in Japan, it's probably like, oh yeah, this is like the game you play. But like again, and for like over here, it's like, oh, this is a niche thing that's really good, but it's super niche. But yeah, like when that got announced, everyone was kind of like, oh wow, this is so cool. Yeah, well, as they're announcing the people, the cross, like who in the hell is gonna be in this game, they're announcing all these characters and all these flagship characters. And they're like, oh, this character's be in it, this character's gonna be in it, and then this character's gonna be in it, and then they're like, and Ruby, and everyone's going, what? Like that was the big drop of like, how did Ruby get in? Like, holy shit.
My favorite thing is that also they announced that they're making a Ruby board game. And my reaction to that
please.
was I can't wait for this game. I can't wait for this game to be terrible. Because it seems like everything outside of the actual show, everyone just hates.
They love the video game.
It looks okay. Like that video.
It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I was gonna
like it's a hack and slasher. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of people got to realize is don't go into this expecting like super deep combat. It's beat 'em up hack and slash game.
I was gonna say, like, the more videos I look at that game, and it was like, oh, just looks generic. It looks boring, but it's not terrible.
That's the thing that's the thing though. The person who made the person who made the initial version of this got hired by Rooster Teeth and they said, here's your resources, go. So like you can tell this guy's like from the initial start file that the initial stages that they had put up for the game, like he's improved quite a bit. Like the hitboxes have been fixed quite a bit. The new enemies are actually like quite interesting to play against. But the only problem with the game that I find is that in some cases it can be a little unforgiving.
Alan, how do I merge the objects in Maya?
Merge. Okay.
'Cause I don't.
Give me a second. I'm gonna boot up my Maya to see if. I actually can't remember because I just do it by fucking click, and I don't know if LT has the same hotkeys as I do. No, it won't because I actually have my hotkeys set up different.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking this is because I need to know so that way then I can get the typology figured out.
Welcome to the Black Mine Modeling Cast, where we model live and we talk about it. So this is Josh. This is our modeling.
Go fuck yourself, Josh. Nobody likes you.
Josh, you're a lovable person and we love you deeply. But please let the adults talk about this.
Please let the adults troubleshoot this. So this is a part of the podcast where I speak quietly and they troubleshoot.
Other news.
He's in a golf commentary. So what's this about fucking Toys R Us?
So Toys R Us recently filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
So they can sell their shit and not have to worry about full bankruptcy. That's what it is, right?
It's a little bit more.
Chapter 11. Yeah, that's the third search result for that one.
Yep.
It's so Toys R Us is a little bit more kind of like a funny story. So Toys R Us recently filed for, I believe, Chapter 11. Meanwhile, another company called Mastermind is actually doing very successful. They're closing 82 stores. Currently has 82 stores. Toys R Us is about 35,000 square feet, but impressive feats nonetheless. Big TCX. So Toys R Us is actually closing down, it sounds like, and they've recently filed for Chapter 11, I believe.
I mean, it's going to sell their. It's selling their property.
I'm gonna be fuck. By the way, to combine mesh, just go to combine the meshes and stuff like that. Go up to the top bar, click mesh, and it's right there.
But yeah, with the Toys R Us closing up, it's kind of, I don't know. I personally never went into Toys R Us. Even when I was a kid, I just fucking. Hold on.
The fuck's going on?
No, I'm getting audio feedback, and that's annoying the shit here. Oh, wait. Okay, he fixed it. Okay. So anyway, Toys R Us. The story with me with Toys R Us is I never really set foot in one, except for the times I asked my parents nicely, could we go to Toys R Us since we're here? And my parents would be like, fine. And we walk through Toys R Us, and I'd be like, can we get this thing? And they go, it's expensive as shit. I'm not kidding. It's really expensive. And it's just like, oh.
So that's, I think, is the main issue with Toys R Us. Is you go to Toys R Us, and they're 10 times, you look at their products and stuff like that, and you can get them for about $25 versus $15. Am I wrong? It's marked up, and I don't think. I think that that's probably part of the issue. That being said, I think that there's another. I think it's also another issue of.
If it isn't for
Go
the
ahead.
freaking voice chat on my end shitting the bed, but
Okay, I can still hear you.
Yep, I can still hear you, but you're twitching out a bit.
You're robotic as shit.
it's roboting like
Okay.
I think I'm roboting
Just keep
unless
going,
you
just
guys
keep
can
going.
hear yourselves pretty fine. But anyway, keep going.
Okay. Basically, when Toys R Us, like, it's Amazon's not. It's people have credited it to Amazon kicking their ass, but I think it's more of when I buy a toy, I go to Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, Bomb and Pop Shops, and Mastermind. Those are the three places I go to. I also go to a department store because I can pick up something there and call it a day. But it's like when I'm going to buy stuff, I go to other stores. I don't go to Toys R Us because they usually don't have what I want nor need. And usually if they do have what I want, they're more expensive. So it's like it was bad business and stuff like that. And you know what? I honestly think that Amazon also played a role in this. Think about the convenience factor of like being.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. And it's like, it's terrible. It's all terrible.
Like, why do I have to walk into a store where I could just get it right here?
And it's cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper, and I think the only ever reason you ever want to step foot in a Toys R Us is like, oh, they have this exclusive bullshit thing that I have to walk into their goddamn store, and they probably only have 5 of.
Yep. Oh yeah. Hi.
I've never forgiven for the fucking amiibo bullshit. But anyway,
You and your amiibos.
snort them every day.
You and your amiibos. I thought you snorted magic cards now.
I snorted the amiibos, and it was like, oh, I'm getting that high, but it's just it's slowly petering off. And then I went back to magic cards, snorting that, getting that high again. But again, it's petering off. So I'm like, maybe I should snort both. So
Okay.
I'll just snort both of them at the same time. I'm sure I get no problem from this at all.
So, Allan, what's your opinion of Toys R Us closing down?
It's gonna be like okay. So here's the thing for me. Like I think it's gonna suck to see them go, but at the same time, nothing new. Like legit, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I can't even think the last time I stepped in one.
Like I stepped in one a couple of months ago, but that's like at the same time, like holy shit, it's something I didn't expect to see.
I think there's 1 or 2 items that I might have got from their online service, like through their website, but that's about it. But yeah, it's like
I'm not even really like it's not even too upsetting, but at the same time, it's one of those things that I'm like, wow.
yeah, the thing is, this is kind of a bigger deal in the States, I guess, because there's was it the Giant Bombcast I was listening to, Jeff Gertzman. He's been talking about how, like, oh, we basically used Toys R Us as a renting service because they didn't give a shit back then of like, oh, you bought a game, you brought it back the next day going like, oh, I didn't like it. Okay, whatever, here's another game. And it kept doing that over and over. And also the returning process was more or less like, is it okay looking? Fine, here's a new game. Like, a lot of people use Toys R Us as a rental service, apparently, which is pretty bonkers.
That's terrible. That's actually terrible.
But I mean, but they had such lax rules to the point of like, yeah, which is you buy one game and you just keep going cycling through all the games that they had in the fucking store.
Didn't Costco used to do that as well?
Kind of.
Did they? I had never heard of that. But man, I wish I could have caught a whiff of that because that would have been a great rental service.
It was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Now, gentlemen, I present to you the greatest. Speaking of Toys R Us and stuff like that, remember when you used to imagine that you were a space pilot?
Oh God.
This is a bad segue. Shut up.
No, I never imagined about space pirates.
You never imagined about being a space marine on Mars.
No, it was more.
Nah, not really.
My imagination kind of sucked, so I was like, man, I want to play more video games and not be outside.
How was your imagination going after seeing Mars, Trader?
Okay, so here's the thing. It's a fun little movie for those who like Starship Troopers. But at the same time, it's got a few things that are different, and I'm fine with that because like it works. It feels more like with the new styles of suits they've got since Invasion, it actually feels like the suits are actually capable of combat, so it's like 10 guys taking on like a horde of like 30 or 40 like 30 or 40 like bug waves at a time, and you feel like they can actually probably win compared to like what the movie was like. But at the same time, it's one of those groups that you're just like, oh well, shit. And honestly, the predictability of the movie is of course there, but at the same time, I loved it because like it was cheesy to where the moments it needed to be cheesy, and it did things that like even I didn't expect it how to do it. Like the way they did a scene, I didn't expect how they were going to do it. So I loved it. I loved every moment of it. But at the same time, like I can't help but just turn around and go, yeah, no,
This is terrible.
it's not terrible. It's better. It's better than it's better than Starship Troopers 2. But that's real easy to beat. So it's a fun movie. Like I'll say that it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it.
It's good. As long as you enjoyed it. Speaking of other fun space times, I played Rebel Galaxy. It's okay.
Rebel Galaxy? I'm gonna look this up on Steam now.
It's a ship combat game. It's really good. I like it.
Rebel Galaxy.
My brother was just spazzing out about it forever ago. Like
Your brother is a decent human being.
yeah. I know.
Do you design your own ships and stuff, or?
It's just a really good game.
Yeah, it's a really stupid game that allows you to be dumb and funny. Ways.
Be dumb and funny at the same time.
Yeah. It allows you to like it's one of those games where like you play it and you're like, oh, this is okay, but like you can piss off like entire factions of the game and be a complete and total dick. So I naturally am just like, I don't want to piss off the government because the government is the best government. Oh God.
Fair point.
Yeah. And it's really fun because I recently got like something that like makes me deal with the damage better. So it's like awesome. But I'm actually kind of getting into the meat of the game now, so it's awesome.
Yeah, no, geez. Like at the same time, I get a fucking giggle out of certain things getting done. But man, I fucking looked at I looked at another game that I was thinking about playing, which is Avalon, where you design your own ship from like small cubes and boxes, and you have to build up the resources to make these ships. And I've seen some of the ships people have made in that game, and I'm like, Jesus Christ!
You're talking about like Space Engineers?
No, not Space Engineers. Avalon.
Oh.
Avalon. Fuck, I can't remember what the name is, but I think. But I'll look it up. But it's really fucking cool. Look, like you start off with a single 3x2 wide ship, and you fly it around. You gather resources, until you've got enough to like build something. And then you build your ship from it. And it's like really cool. Like you built it does like a 1x1 or 4x4 meter. I can't remember what the dimensions are for each cube, but you just build off it. It's just actually like really, really cool to look at, because some of the designs I've seen for ships in those games are just ridiculous. Like I'm like, what the fuck? And all of them have to be able to have to be capable of sustained flight, or else you can't fly them. And it's fucking funny because like some of these ships are like, yeah, no, they actually work. Oh fuck, where is it? I'm actually gonna look it up in my subscription feed here in a moment. But yeah.
Okay. Josh.
Yes.
You got shitty shrouded in shadow. This is our game.
This is a game that we were talking about before, and
I think we were raging about it, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
yeah,
game's great.
Oh my
It
god!
wasn't like that.
Look at her butt.
It was.
Yep. It's actually it's so basically the concept of this game is a game called. There's another older game for the PS2, and it's called was it Disaster Report? And basically, it's a game about, oh, we gotta survive through a city that's collapsing. It's gonna go all into the ocean. We gotta run away, and it's all collapsing. And it's gonna take us exactly 8 hours for this game to finish up, and that type of stuff. But the thing is that this plays like that, but it's all kaiju. It's all kaiju It's all kaiju all the time. So basically, you're running through the streets and you see buildings explode, and you see freaking jet fighters fly through, and you're like, "Oh man, this is really chaotic!" And you look off the distance, and you see just the biggest fucking kaiju ever, and you feel intimidated as fuck. And
You're like,
"Oh my god!" Yeah, exactly. And the game's story and plotline is you're a no-name civilian trying to run away from these kaiju battles. So,
oh god!
So
you need to link this game in chat right now. I need to look at this game. I want to see what it's all
So it's in
about.
the topic
Fucking
list.
link it in chat.
yeah, hold on. See if
Oh shit!
I can copy.
I'll click it. I'm just like tapped over to another thing. I'm checking. I'm looking for the video right now.
Yeah, like it's fucking cool because there's a couple points in those games where you can just get right up to the feet of the kaiju or the hero dude or whatever and just look up and you do like, oh, that's not what it looks like if I'm just tiny as shit and this thing is just monstrous as possible. Like it's some cool ass stuff going on in that game. And also there is some story stuff to go with
in
it.
this game?
I think so.
Holy shit!
It looks like they're kind of pulling from all of the resources in that thing.
Do you blame them? And this is a city in the crowd. This is a city shrouded in shadow. I'm gonna watch this video trailer now.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind actually being able to play a game where I could actually like play as a Jaeger.
Eventually, down the road.
Maybe in a couple decades. Oh my god, it's Godzilla!
I mean, there's Godzilla.
Godzilla!
Yeah. There's got.
This is not the story of some hero. This is your story. Oh, yo!
Yeah. So basically, you are that no-name villain or no-name civilian just trying to get away, which is pretty great.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be playing a bunch of potatoes.
I think it'd be really cool if they
A giant potato monster shows up randomly.
I mean, I would love actually this kind of harpens back to a game.
I'm not gonna lie. If they release English versions of this would be great.
Would be probably.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Bandai's not going to do that, man.
If it was at least subtitled, that'll be fine.
Yeah, but Bandai's not going to do that.
Shadow Heart's Cry is the name of the song, by the way.
Yep. And
Mechagodzilla.
I was gonna say like this game kind of harpens back to another game that I remember playing on the Super Nintendo and thinking it was the raddest shit ever, and it's called King of the Monster, or I think it's called King of the Monsters. Basically, it's pro wrestling with kaiju.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
fuck.
So basically, the funny thing is with the concept with that game, it was like, oh man, we need a. It's just like any other kaiju movie, except it was more pro wrestling flavors thrown in. So basically, it's if you get close enough to the opponent, you do a grapple, and if you win the grapple, you do like a suplex or a power bomb, or you throw them against the electrified railing, and it acts like ropes, and you can bounce back towards you, and you can clothesline the fucker, and it's just all these cool ass shit you can do. And I'm like, man, I just want to make a kaiju pro wrestling game. It'd be so great. It's so great.
Oh no, my favorite thing about certain kaiju games is the fact, kaiju games in general are usually pretty good. But like, Jesus Christ, I love the idea of just playing a game where you're like a monster just stomping around the city and just killing people and just causing havoc. Like the entire point of the game is just to cause as much damage as you can and then just fucking going nuts with it. I would love that. It's like that old Sega Nintendo Nintendo 64 game where you played like a pair of gorillas that were on a tower, and all you do is grab people, eat them, and like gain scores that way. It was still like really, really cool. But yeah.
Fucking. Well, I can't wait for that game. Can't wait for the Shrouded in Shadow to come out. Feels like I'm just like Shatner, or not Shatner, but like Sean Connery saying the title of this game, like City Shrouded in Shadow.
Oh,
City Shrouded in Shadow.
Well, could be.
I've also found the game that I was talking about where you build your own spaceships, and it's called Avorion.
Oh,
and everything that people say about it is like 90% overall, and it like you got space combat. You can fucking run as a fucking freighter. Like legit, it looks like a really fun game. I would play with people, but it's an early access game. But at the same time, like anybody I've seen play the game, I'm like, yeah, no, they clearly are enjoying themselves because they are building the ship that they want to.
Just make a ship with all armor and nothing else.
That might work, but I don't know what kind of weapons you've got in the game. So like, that actually might not be a very good idea if there's like things like plasma or like heat rays and shit like that. Armor does nothing.
Armor does everything
for that shit. The armor does nothing. I'm gonna find that meme and link it to you now.
Also, in other news, so we talked about that.
Yep, we're just going through the. Well, there is the one thing I could talk about.
Let's talk about that thing. You're starting an animation job.
Well, no, okay. You remember how I told Christina now works downtown at a chiropractor, right?
Yeah.
She works there as like a secretary and stuff like that. So the other day, a person for a 2D animation studio came in, and she got her business cards and stuff like that, and casually name dropped me to the person, and I was like, and she told me this yesterday when I had one of my rain days, and I'm like, thank you, and my response to Chris was like, Chris, thank you, but oh my God, Chris,
why did you do this?
And I'm not ready, Chris. I was never ready. But at the same time, I kind of want to apply because.
So can I make a suggestion for you?
Sure.
Apply.
Probably should.
I probably will.
Do it.
I probably will.
Probably should.
And it's funny because it's like you can still develop games and stuff like that in your spare time if you want, but I don't expect your output to increase. If anything, the only thing I would ask is like buy a house or an apartment and then put podcast stuff in it so we could record there instead of, on Discord.
I buy an apartment downtown and being like, sup nerds, come
to my house.
And you're like,
it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck during the winter. Me trying to come from my freaking town of Leduc going to Edmonton.
Yeah, and that was the entire point of that statement of Jeff being like, "Yo, you should buy a house and all that stuff." And I'm just like, cool. That's not how this is gonna work.
No, it's gonna be like 5 of us buying a house so we can live in it.
Yeah.
No, also, we're not doing the same thing.
Also, Jeff, the armor, it does nothing.
Okay. The goggles, they do nothing.
Yeah. No. Oh man, I fucking.
Yeah, it's
I love like games that I get to fucking make. I love the idea that my friend Chris fucking name dropped me so casually at her work to get me a job, but at the same time I'm like, why would you do this? Get cool. But oh man, like there are some days where I love Chris, I really do. But there are days where I'm like,
Chris, why?
Chris, I want to smack you.
Chris should be on the show one day.
If I can ever get a chance to do it, get her to do it. But since she works Fridays and Saturdays, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Just go up to her and be like, Chris, Give you money.
On top of that, she doesn't have a mic set, so
Well, that's her problem.
yeah.
Just buy one from a dollar store. It'd be fine.
No, you know how
no.
bad the audio of that shit
Actually,
sounds.
surprisingly, it's like weird hit or miss whether there'd be like the good audio quality,
For like
quality
a
coming from the
one
mic.
episode, and then halfway through, it would just sound like garbage.
I
Yeah.
don't. Well,
It's not wrong, and you know it.
exactly.
But at the same time, I'm kind of just indifferent to like. I am gonna apply like once the season dies down. I may get a little bit. I get like 2 weeks to like actually like just focus on making my portfolio look nice and just throw my portfolio.
And doing
up
a bunch of characters.
Maybe get a job.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe get a job. It'd be actually really nice. I would actually be really gung ho to work for a studio because then I'd actually have a job in the industry and I'd be okay with that.
And then you wouldn't have to work for us anymore. Work with us anymore. And then we.
I'd be like, I'm free. I'm free from the curse. But I still show up on the podcast, tell you guys how much my life is better.
Then we make more money than you, and life's good.
That's the thing. Animators starting wage on average is $16 an hour, and the top earning ones I think make around 40.
Sounds kind of normal.
Yep.
I mean,
It'll be a bit of a drop for me in mine. How much I make?
How funny is it when the Alberta government raises minimum wage again?
Yeah.
That'd be great. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be fucking funny because I'll be going up by $2. And I'll be going up to $30 an hour, and I'll be like, "Hey,
It's good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny because like my bosses right now are like, yeah, if the Alberta government raises minimum wage, you're going to be making so much more money. I'm like,
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that's going to happen. Like, it's going to some stuff of like, oh, some places that are just so cheap, they're just going to probably either fire work staff or just cut their hours immediately.
it's gonna depend a lot because that doesn't always work."
no.
Yeah, like it depends on a lot of things, but I mean that's probably the first most like this company's bullshit because all my hours are gone. I work for 8 hours a day, or I work 8 hours a week.
Oh no, a lot of companies, if that actually happens, and they
Are you because of
and they
that?
stop-
You can usually
and they-
sue.
Yeah, you can not only can you sue, if they start cutting hours for illegitimate reasons of like, oh well, they're making so much more money now, we're not making. Holy fuck! I swear to God, if that was you, I'm gonna
That
murder
wasn't
you.
me. That was Jeff.
Okay, sure. But at the same time, if it was Jeff, I will murder him too. But the thing is like, if companies do that, like, and they start trying to do that, like, you can just bring it up to like the labor board. It's like, so they're not giving me hours.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, like, the labor board doesn't actually have to enforce the fact that you have to like have a job, but at the same time, if they don't have a valid fucking reason, they're gonna look at the company and go, okay, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's like, and they just get sweaty palms. They're like,
Knees weak,
yeah, knees weak.
mom spaghetti.
You know, mom spaghetti. They just start panting. They're like, this, we can't do it. Just cry. You all cry.
I would not be at all surprised. Legit, I'd not be surprised one bit.
Well.
What else is there in this list?
Just,
Okay, so Total War 2 is around the corner. It's next Thursday it comes out, and I've been playing Warhammer Total War recently, and I've been playing as the Dwai, or in other words, the dwarves, because why would you play anything else but the dwarves? But that's beside the point. I love the dwarves. I greatly care for the dwarves. I would probably say if I had to pick a faction, I'd probably pick dwarves to be a part of. But at the same time, the dwarves empire mechanic fucking sucks. Hey guys, how do you feel about grudges? Anytime any enemy slights you in any way, such as like raiding your province, starting a rebellion, and stuff like that, you get a grudge against you. I'm currently in like one game where, by the way, chaos has spawned early, like turned 40 Chaos spawned, and then turned 84 the Lord of Chaos spawned, and then you're like, fuck, what do I do? Chaos has promptly caused me to gain just nothing but like 10 grudges in the span of 5 turns. And it's like I was down to 2. I was at the point where I'm like, my empire is now manageable. I can wage war safely again. And then chaos happened, and I was like, Jesus Christ! I like, it's. I love playing as the dwarves, but they're like, oh man, they're one of those things that you're just like,
You just love it.
Yep. Sounds like you're.
my eyes, the goggles do nothing.
The goggles, they do nothing. Yep.
By the way, have you ever watched the full Hidden McBain movie?
Oh yeah, the Hidden McBain.
It's great. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like, man, this could have been a real movie that like the Simpsons or like the crew of the Simpsons could have been like, yeah, let's make this a legit thing. Like they could have done it. It would have been the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, like, I think they could have played the McBain movie as like a spoof cop movie. Like but the tone through the entire thing is all serious. But then to see these moments of like, that's fucking retarded.
Yeah. But at the same time, there are some things. Like,
You really like Warhammer though?
I really like Warhammer. I'm really excited to being able to play the Skaven, the High Elves, and the Lizardmen. I'm not super excited about something like the Dark Elves, just because like I'm indifferent towards them. They're not bad, but at the same time, they're not great.
Ooh.
They're one of those factions that you like look at and you go, yeah, I could see it being a thing.
I don't really want them to be a thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Anyways. Hey, Allan.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Hey, Allan, how would you handle the typology for an ankle joint? If you don't mind.
A topology, not typology. Typology is what do you do?
Typology.
Oh.
Typology for an ankle joint.
It depends. You need to have.
Well,
I'm going to link you a video because I'm like now that we're done with the podcast. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening to the Black Mind Podcast.
Thank you for listening
to the Black Mind Podcast, episode 117. My name is Jeff. That was Allan. I just asked a question for, and Josh. You can listen to us every Thursday now on podbean.com. You can also listen to us on iTunes, YouTube, and other places. Thank you, and have a good night.
And good night.
Good night, guys. Actually, we'll talk about 2 other things.
Is it going to be political shit?
2 Total War. I'm actually trying to stay away from political shit. I haven't been able to keep track of anything related to political for the past few weeks. What else is there?
Sweet.
Fuck. What else was there? All right, I'm good to go.
Yep. You're recording right now?
I am recording.
Josh is recording right now?
Yes.
Sync in 3, 2, 1.